Welcome to the end of summer. It is, man, it's almost the end. September. Temperatures are starting to change here coming up, and we're going to get some cooler temperatures. So I thought I would give you guys an update on the corn, the pumpkins, some of the tomatoes that we have, and how well they trellised with the sunflowers and different things like that that we talked about at the beginning of the season. But before I get started on all of that, I wanted to invite you guys to check out an interview that I did with Luke over at ShootTDM Messenger. He does an awesome little radio program, really great stuff. I've listened to a couple of other interviews that he's done. It's actually broadcast on shortwave radio, but you guys can listen to it recorded over on his website. So I'll put all the information in the description and in a comment down below. You can link over and check out the interview that we did. It was a great time talking with him. Just kind of talking about, you know, some of the things that we've been through, what brought us on this journey from the suburban kind of homestead and that lifestyle to where we're at now, which is like a complete 180 from where we were 5 years ago. And just talk a little bit about the YouTube stuff, talk a little about our kind of some of our philosophies with farming and agriculture and raising animals and all kinds of other good stuff. So check it out. It's almost an hour-long interview, but it was a lot of fun to do, and thank you, Luke, for having me on, and hopefully you guys enjoy the interview as well. So go ahead and check the links out. Of course, after you watch the rest of today's video, check those things out and let me know what you guys think. Stop back over here, leave a comment. You can also leave a comment on his page as well, and I'll actually check out those comments over there. So let's check out this corn patch behind me that I'm kind of standing in the entrance of. If you remember at the beginning of the season, this was all virgin ground. We tilled this. It was yard. This was all yard behind me here. We just prepared this ground for the first time this year, and we planted a couple thousand seeds. I think it was 2,000 or 3,000 seeds back here. Not all of them grew, of course, but we've got quite a few corn plants out here. And let's see, is it time to harvest? So here's the patch, and I did a couple videos on this patch already, some about boosting corn growth and how well the compost made a difference for us and all that kind of good stuff. And man, it made a huge difference. You can still see the spots, the low spots here, the unhealthy plants and the short plants where I did not have very much compost, and then, you know, the real tall, nice ones here that we put a lot of compost in there around the roots. But we've got a lot of really good corn on here. So I think that this stuff is just about ready. I can feel in here, the top of these aren't quite finished off yet. I also noticed a few of these have had this kind of rot on them, which is like a mold. There's slugs on there and everything. So that's happened to a few of them. I've just been throwing those over to the weeds, the animals. Let's take a look at one of these healthier looking ones here. Let's undo this, check it out. So this one here looks like, you know what, I would take that. That's not a bad little heirloom piece of sweet corn. So the variety that I grew here is all kind of a natural variety. No hybrids or anything like that. But I would take that. I would take that as a nice little ear of corn right there. It's a little smaller. Let's check out this other one. A little bit of a bigger plant. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. That's good. That's good corn right there. I'll take that any day. Make sure there's no worms or anything in any of this, since none of it was sprayed. No fertilizers on any of this stuff, just manure and rabbit bedding and things like that during the season were amended around it. And it actually didn't get very good sunlight even, but it still grew okay. Oh yeah. That's good corn. It's sweet. I'll tell you what, I will take this any day over any store-bought corn. That's really good. This is the first time that we've really, I would say, successfully grown sweet corn. We've had a lot of patches. They've blown over. We've had raccoons get everything. Corn is tricky to grow here in Michigan. Sweet corn, good sweet corn. Yeah, you can go hybrid. You can go with the super sweet varieties and all that kind of stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not, you know, looking down upon that. But I wanted to grow a variety here that I could save the seeds every year and replant the next year and kind of expand my crop each year. So I had about 2,000, 2 or 3,000 seeds this year. You know, maybe I can get 4 or 5, 6,000 in the ground next year, and we can do an even bigger patch. There's a lot of problems with the patch, the location where it is here. I've got a lot of trees that are blocking sunlight on the south side here. A lot of things I need to deal with. I need to amend this. This was the first time on this patch, so next year I can amend it even better, get a lot of composted manure in here, maybe put wood chips down in, between the rows, and just do a much better job growing this corn. But even though I haven't done much with this, I planted it, I weeded it once or twice, and I put hay down between the rows. I did a whole video on caring for the sweet corn patch, and I'm happy. It turned out pretty good. So I would say we probably got about 50% of the crop that I really wanted to get here. And so we're not going to do a sale on this. We're not going to do like a vegetable stand and sell the sweet corn. We're going to take every bit of corn we have out of here, and we're going to slice that corn off, and we're going to can it and freeze it and preserve it for the year. We will use every bit of this corn and probably be out of corn by next year. So our tomatoes this year, I was planning on doing a vegetable stand, and the cucumbers and zucchini, but you know what? After I really dug into it with 100 tomato plants here, whatever I have, it's not enough. I still could use more tomatoes to make all the things that we have. So your gardens are just never big enough. But we're going to continue to expand. Every year we're moving forward and we're getting bigger. So let's go out and check the pumpkin patch and see what's going on out there. I've already been out there, and there's some good news and some bad news on the patch. So let's go check it out. Well, the first thing that you notice out here is there's a lot of weeds. It's overgrown, and that's okay, but man, those weeds grew way quicker than I thought they would, even with all the hay we put down. So, but the deer fencing seems to be working. It's all up here. I don't know if you can see it down the line, but we've got the fishing line deer fence. I haven't seen any signs of deer in here really. So I do see some bedding spots, like right here, maybe, where I don't know if it's wind blown or if there's smaller creatures in here. That doesn't necessarily look like a deer bed. So, but I don't see any signs of deer eating anything, which is good. And I haven't seen the fence torn down anywhere where they like ran through it. So I think the deer fencing is working. Well, you can see a lot of pumpkins out here, and there's a lot of small ones still starting throughout the patch. There's a one right in there. Those ones won't make it, but they'll still be good feed for the animals. You can see a lot of pumpkins in here turning orange already, and I'm just not sure if I should, let those go. Some of them are on dead vines, and I might just leave them in there. Ooh, you can see a pretty big one through the weeds there. But look at what's happening with the powdery mildew. See all that the white leaves out there, that powdery mildew. We had a real wet patch, real wet weather come through here, and man, I think it wrecked a lot of these pumpkin plants, and I just couldn't keep up with trying to treat them. So we got a lot of good pumpkins in here though. There's a real big one down here somewhere. Oh yeah, look at that one. That's a good sized pumpkin right there. It's a little flatter and wider, but that's a good one. And this vine isn't, the leaves are dying off here, but the vine is still good, so I'll leave that on there. There's some good sized ones in here, so it's not a complete fail. Some strange looking ones, either they didn't develop all the way, or they're not done developing. But there's a lot of pumpkins in here. This aisle weeds stayed much lower. So this right here looks like to me either some type of a worm damage or birds pecking at it. Can't quite tell, but this one is rotted obviously. There's another good size one. Looks like it's all bumpy. That's weird. So here is all those extra tomato plants that I had of various kinds that didn't sell in the seedling sale. I just planted them all out here, and I planted a sunflower on each side of the tomato plant. I never made it out here to care for these, not one single time. I didn't pull any weeds. I never harvested anything. I never did anything with them. I just time absolutely ran away from me, and there's just too many things to do. But there are tomatoes in here. I can come back here probably and harvest some Romas in here, and they look pretty good. I mean, they're all right. They don't look like they're damaged or anything. So I can come back here and get some to preserve. That'll give me some extra tomatoes. I never came out here to actually tie the tomato plants. The idea was you have a tomato plant in the middle, and then you have a sunflower on each side. And I can tell you right now, this is actually working really well. I didn't, of course, tie these up. This is a cherry tomato, which actually looks some pretty good ones on these. Some pretty good little cherries on there. But this actually worked really well. So the sunflowers grow up and they're way out of the sunlight area of the tomato plant. So if I would have come out with some twine and just tied these up to the sunflower stalks, they would have done great. So this one right here is a great example. I didn't tie it up or anything. It actually, just because of the two sunflowers on each side, it had actually climbed up in between them, and it's all the way up to there. So that's about 5 feet. It just kind of clung and vined right along that sunflower stalk, and it's doing great. And that was without any help. It did it on its own. So with a little bit of twine, man, I could have got all these tied up real nice. But that one looks like it's got some worms or something in it. No, we're not eating that one. That looks like that one turned out pretty good right there, though. Yeah, that's a good little tomato. I'll take that one up. That's a really nice looking one right there. I like that. Well, the bumblebees, the bumblebees didn't make it. They did their job for about a month and a half out here, pollinating all these pumpkin plants, and then something got into them, an animal or something, tore the thing all apart and dragged it back into the woods here, and I don't see any more bumblebees in there. So they probably got in and ate up all the nectar and honey out of it. Probably a fox or a coyote or a raccoon, most likely a raccoon. So not a bad little pumpkin patch out there, but man, did I learn a lot this year, and there are so many things I'm ready to improve upon. I already just can't wait to go again next year and do the same 2 crops on a bigger scale, and we're going to do even better. So that's one of those things, you know, when you're kind of learning to do these things for the first time on large scales. You know, it's one thing to grow a couple rows of corn, it's one thing to grow a couple pumpkin plants, but then when you get into growing, you know, 1,000 or a couple thousand or bigger patches and stuff, there's just all kinds of new things you have to deal with and learn. But what that means for me here is that every year I need to learn quickly, and I need to make sure I take good notes and record the things that happened every year. So one of the tools that I found extremely useful on this farm, and for anybody, whether you're farming, homesteading, prepping, just living everyday life, whatever it is, no matter young or old, Microsoft OneNote is a really big helpful tool for me. Now, I'm not sponsoring Microsoft or anything like that, but OneNote and also Evernote. Evernote is kind of a third-party note-taking program that's also very good. I use the suite of Microsoft stuff, and so it fits in with what I use. I've used it for years. So OneNote, a lot of people overlook it. It's a free app for Android and Apple phones. It is available on PC and Mac, of course, in your browser. You can go right with a Microsoft account, which is free. You can do it right online in a browser. But it also comes with all your Microsoft Office suite. So what I do generally is I keep track of every year gardening, different crops, different things, different layouts, whatever I do. There's a huge category of notebooks and organizational tools there. You can draw right on it. You can snap pictures and store it right in your note. So this is what I saw on this pumpkin. This is what I saw on the corn. This is how the patch looked. This is, you know, you can integrate all that stuff. It's just like having a notebook and writing things out, but way more versatile. And so every year I take notes on what I learned, what happened. You know, the pumpkin patch, I already know right now, next year, I need to work on irrigation, and I need to work on weed control out there. I need to put straw down. I need to put wood chips down right away, right when I plant, so those weeds never have a chance to start growing. Same thing in the corn patch. plant the corn and wood chip the aisles, or straw the aisles. I got to look at doing a water tower, rain collection system. I got to look at doing a little solar pump or a little shallow well. So those are things I got to start thinking about all winter long. I'm super excited to get out there and actually harvest those pumpkins, and so I think I'm going to get out there pretty soon and start grabbing the ones that are ready. Pumpkin sales really aren't going to wind up for probably another month, so hopefully I didn't plant too early. Hopefully I can still get those pumpkins in and preserve them, you know, good enough to still sell in 30 days, 30 to 45 days. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Sweet corn we're going to start preserving here. I'll have videos on all this stuff, guys, so don't worry, you're not missing out on anything. As always, guys, hit that thumbs up on the video if you found it useful. And don't forget to check out that interview over on ShootTDM.com. Links and all that will be in the description, of course, to check out the interview and let me know what you guys think. So, as always, thanks for watching. Have a good one.